This afternoon, Parent-Teacher Association of Sekondi College in the Western Region to petition WAEC over the fate of 154 students who were prevented from writing their exams. Also this hour, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin insists Parliament will take steps to relook at the anti-LGBTQ+ bill before it is submitted to the presidency. Now, workers of PBC Limited renew calls on President John Dramani Mahama to fulfill his promise to revive struggling cocoa buying company, citing worsening hardship. It is News Central here on TV3. I'm Kemeni Amano. We'll start right now. Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin is fiercely fighting claims that Parliament's only job is to transmit the anti-LGBTQ+ bill to the President for assent, insisting that rules exist to bring back the legislation to the House for another consideration. He says the term functus officio does not apply because a motion of rescission can be triggered to reconsider the passed bill, especially when inconsistencies and errors have been identified. Now, last week, a co-sponsor of the bill and Communications Minister Sam Nate-George declared that Parliament's only job after passage was to send the bill to the President for assent. But Bagbin disagrees.
I'm sure my recent comments about the bill that was passed recently as ruffles of feathers. But I still hold my view. A recent debate where some lawyers came out strongly to say that by the Constitution, once a law is passed on the floor, Parliament is functus officio. It's not the law. And because we have what we call post-passage process before you send it to the President for assent. And that is why in the Constitution, there's no time limit given to Parliament after passage to submit to the President for assent. And on many occasions, we usually identify some inconsistencies or some errors, and then we go back to the House where they refer to as second reconsideration stage. You use the process called rescission, a motion of rescission to rescind the decision of having read the bill the third time, and then use that to do it. In fact, we are very soon going to use it in connection with the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority Bill, which was passed in March. And so we have that process of self-regulation or self-correction. So it's really not the law that once the Speaker presiding says the bill is read the third time and passed, Parliament is functus officio.
Now, Member of Parliament for Brekum West, Dixon Tregia, has cautioned the Black Stars and the technical team against complacency ahead of Ghana's World Cup opener against Panama. He argues that opening games at the Mundial usually decide the fate of teams, pointing to the dominance of other teams the country will face in the group. His remarks follow a statement read by Kwapim South MP Laurentia Jiwono.
It is the first World Cup in history to be jointly hosted by three nations, namely the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. From our maiden appearance at the 2006 FIFA World Cup in Germany to our landmark quarter-final feat in South Africa in 2010, the Black Stars have demonstrated that Ghana possesses the requisite talent, resilience, and determination to compete at the highest level of world football. Mr. Speaker, our World Cup has so far been marked by the remarkable brilliance of players whose outstanding performances have brought immense national pride and elevated Ghana's flag on the global stage. Let us proudly wear Ghana, celebrate our heritage, and promote the greatness of our nation through this World Cup. We must also emphasize that sporting success does not happen by chance or overnight, but through the right investments, planning, and nurturing of talent. I firmly believe that Ghana will one day become the first African country to win the FIFA World Cup if the aforementioned measures are put in place.
Indeed, Mr. Speaker, I rise with profound honor and excitement to rally Ghanaians to support Black Stars in this very important endeavor. Football unites the nation beyond politics, beyond ethnicity, and beyond social status. That is why at this very important moment, we all need to rally behind the Black Stars. Mr. Speaker, anytime the Black Stars takes to the field, they carry not only the hopes of millions of Ghanaians, but they carry the aspirations of the entire nation that is determined to excel at the global stage. Mr. Speaker, as we prepare for our opening game against Panama on Wednesday night, may I take this opportunity to reflect on the enormous importance of opening matches at the World Cup level. Mr. Speaker, at our maiden appearance in Germany, even though we lost our first game against Italy 2-0, the players displayed a lot of courage and determination, and that strong performance laid the foundation for our subsequent victories against Czech Republic and the United States. In 2010, Ghana made a dream start by beating Serbia 1-0, and that propelled Ghana to advance to the quarterfinals of the 2010 World Cup and would have made history as the first African country to have reached semi-finals, but for the infamous hand of Suarez. However, Mr. Speaker, in 2014, the regrettable event in Brazil started with a defeat to United States, and Ghana could not bounce back. This defeat triggered chains of unpalatable events, resulting in our humiliating exit at the group stage. Similarly, Mr. Speaker, in 2022 in Qatar, having suffered another defeat in the hands of Portugal, Ghana could not rise to the occasion again. It is for these experiences that, Mr. Speaker, I want to use this forum to caution the players, officials, and all Ghanaians to eschew complacency as we prepare against Panama on Wednesday, because it has been established that the opening matches usually make or unmake teams at the World Cup. So we need to win against Panama. And Mr. Speaker, Wednesday's match is not about 3 points only. It is about laying a very strong foundation to motivate the players to go into the game against England and Croatia. Mr. Speaker, Ghana finds itself in a very difficult group where we have England, that has been named as one of the favorites. We also have Croatia. And in 2018, Croatia reached finals at the World Cup in Russia. 2023 in Qatar, third place, they reached semi-finals. So this clearly is a very strong team. Even though the team is aging, we cannot underestimate the influence of the likes of Modric, Perisic, and Kramaric in the team.
Now, the government of Ghana has repatriated 327 Ghanaians from La Côte d'Ivoire following a mass demolition exercise by Ivorian authorities. According to the ministry, the exercise rendered the affected individuals stranded after they lost their means of livelihood and were unable to secure alternative accommodation in that country. They were received by the Greater Accra Regional Minister.
Our brothers and sisters from Côte d'Ivoire that were affected by the demolition exercise ongoing, just a way to, control flooding in Côte d'Ivoire. And so the government thought it wise to repatriate them back to their various homes. And so first of all, let me thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, both La Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana, and thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, and everybody who has contributed to bring our brothers and sisters safely back home. And like I stated earlier, the government is ever ready to support them so that whatever, loss, that is what, when we interviewed, a lot of them said they've done a lot of things at their various places and they left it. So the government is ever ready to support them so that they can come back and then, their stay in Ghana would be fruitful. So we are ever ready. We've given them contact numbers to contact us and make sure that, first of all, we'll give them transportation to get to their various destinations and make sure that we support them to get back to their faith and so that they will really enjoy their stay back home in Ghana. We had 303, but these people are from Greater Accra. Others are at Takoradi, Cape Coast, and then Eastern region as well. So in all, we had 303. They go through screening. We have our health workers around. The nurses are here. The doctors are here. They went through some screening. They went through some blood tests before they are here. Some of them had cough, and so they've been attended to. And so right from here and other protocols from NADMO, we are giving them some relief items to make sure that it sustains them until they get back to their feet. So these are some of the protocol processes we.
Now, drivers who ply the Accra-Takoradi Highway are unhappy with the contractor working on the dualization of the Kaswa-Mankesim stretch. The drivers accuse the contractor of failing to make the road motorable, a situation they say is causing damage. Members of GPRTU today joined drivers at Budumburam to protest the contractor for turning the highway into a death trap. Addressing the media, drivers said they now spend 6 to 8 hours on the road instead of the usual 2 to 3 hours. The drivers revealed they are spending all their money on fuel and spare parts. They are therefore calling on the President and the Minister for Roads and Highways to intervene and get the contractors back on site.
We know very well that the road is under construction, but it must be motorable. At least there are some portions that can be done so that we will get access to wherever we are going. But what is happening now, we can't even, take our passengers to wherever they are going. As I'm speaking to you, most of the vehicles are parked at workshops that they cannot repair because of high cost of spare parts. We are asking the government, and he should, address the contractor who is working on this road. Make sure that at least the road will be motorable. We are giving the government 2 weeks ultimatum. If the government don't do anything about what we are seeing here, drivers that price Kaneshie, Kaswa, Cape Coast, and all other areas, we are going to park our vehicles because we can't continue to work and go home empty-handed. We can't continue to work with our cars parked that we cannot repair them. So we are asking the government, that we are pleading with him. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we know very well that you are listening, President. We are pleading with you. We know that the big push agenda is ongoing. But what we are seeing is, if you say you sit down for this road to be fully constructed before you fix it like the way we are seeing it, it will be very, very difficult for us. So we are pleading. They should come to our aid. Drivers that price Kaneshie, Accra, Kaneshie, Kasua, Winneba, Cape Coast, Mankessi, Takoradi, and the other areas, they are suffering. Because of that, in the evenings, you can come to our stations. Passengers will be stranded without getting vehicles to their destination. Sometimes we call some of the drivers to come and pick the passengers. What they will tell you is that they can't go, because when they go and come back, their cars will be damaged. Sometimes you go and come, you buy tires. Sometimes your spring will be broken, your shock absorber, whatever. So we are pleading with the government. They should come to our aid. Make sure that they should come and fix the road for us. Else, within 2 weeks, all vehicles are going to park, because we can't continue on with the business again. If they have other vehicles to come and ply the road, yes, they can come and do it.
Wow. Yeah, this idea, buying answer. For the help coins and the in fact, no, I did it to a castle. Your castle answer says shop. I'm a see on a bank for dying. You just come from Tria. I said, but now I buy a back and I won't enough of a band said a cost strike. Young Panisa, engineer canon. But I buy and see it, dear. Once we don't have any option. None your woman and said, I was saying 3 and 4. Your human a cost. That's not buying. The road more way, you know. I can't go on mine. I can't do it. I'm too far. No more I can say, on some goods, I cannot travel every day, don't travel man. That can buy cars, I go to a low cars. The upper cars almost 20 was 2 years. All the Clayabasa by road minister and a contractor now. Yes, sir, no. You put to do before. Yes, sir, no. How would the baby? I say no. Would on your one my hand, I am father. You have a certain name. And it bled by because of a plan also from Winneba can see 5 hours, 6 hours. Why your rose may play one more over to now far, Opekuma, how about the PFE? Breku, high tension roadway now, move to the Marseille Tasson. Maybe 2 weeks, be on a way to Sonia Jahanamo. Book it our cars is here now. And to now spring ahead. There are branch roads of yes, so my head. I first no more to the session, and also,
Away from that, scores of final year students at Sekondi College who were denied writing the first part of their chemistry examination as a result of lateness to the exam hall say they are emotionally devastated and fear they may never recover from the traumatic experience. Some of the affected students believe their years of hard work in school have been wasted after being denied the opportunity to take part in the paper. They remain divided over whether to sit the chemistry practical exams, with some arguing that missing the first part has already ruined their chances of passing the subject. Meanwhile, PTA of Sekondi College is petitioning the West Africa Examination Council to allow the 154 students who were prevented from writing their chemistry paper to take part in the exams. Abraham Mensah is our Western Region correspondent. He's been following this story closely. He joins us with a bit more on this. Abraham, talk to us about what school management has said about the PTA's request.
So basically, the management of the school are not saying anything yet officially. What I've heard is that they're going to pen down an official statement of what transpired last Thursday. But the good news here, if it should go through, is that a petition by the Parents Association through the Regional Minister to the Education Minister and then to WAEG is that they're proposing a reset of that paper at any center, at any time, but a cost borne by the Parents Association. And that is their request currently. Unfortunately, the Regional Minister isn't around at the RCC, but they've left a little behind, expecting to get some response latest next week on so that they decide on the way forward.
Now, Abraham, let's go into the events of Wednesday. How were 154 students late for the exams?
So there were 322 that were expected to sit for the theory and objective paper on that day. Unfortunately, the initial reports we received was that the rains were intense and students couldn't walk from their classrooms, and where they were having their, pre-exam sections to the examination center on time. So 154 students, all boarding students, couldn't get to the examination center before 8:30. According to WAEC, the external invigilator, they were supposed to get to the center some 30 minutes before time, and they weren't allowed entry. Surprisingly, their colleagues who were day students were given the permission to access the center, and they found that to be much biased in terms that they were all students equally in that sense who were due to take that paper. For hours they waited, there was no response, and tensions were building up. They were anxious, some were even crying, and their plea, even with the Parents Association, some other executive members that were present with teachers pleading, the external invigilator insisted that the rule should be upheld. They were not going to give any room for, in quote, indiscipline on the part of the students for being late at the center. So they officially will write on their report that those 154 students were absent for the paper. Today, they sat for the practical exams, that is chemistry. Yesterday, their position, I'm talking in respect of the students, was that there is little chance that they could even get a pass. So whether or not they sit, there's going to be a fail. So they would prefer not having any kind of a mark for the chemistry paper. They would rather go for an extra exam, which will be the NOVDEC or any private paper that they'll be writing to secure a mark for the chemistry paper.
So Abraham, as we speak, it's unclear whether or not the 150 students who missed the chemistry theory paper sat for the practical exam today.
Today, surprisingly, though they were uncertain in terms of what they wanted to do with the practical exam, but after a series of engagements with parents, with teachers, they sat with hopes that the request, the petition by the Parents Association would be heard, and they would have a second chance of writing the exam. So for now, they've written the practical exams, anticipating an opportunity to sit for the theory and then the objective test at any time WAEC may deem fit.
Very well. Abraham, has there been any word from WAEC on this matter?
There hasn't been any word from WAEC, and same with the Education Directorate. They say they would have to work through the assistant to officially file a complaint. What the push is now from the Parents Association. Authorities of the school are a bit silent on this matter, but all rests with the Parents Association. WAEC is silent on this here in the Western region.
Abraham Mensah, thank you so much for the reporting. Abraham is our Western region correspondent. Now, away from that story, 530 students living with disabilities across tertiary institutions in the country have benefited from the Students' Loan Program. 9 million cedis was expended by the government through the Student Loan Trust Funds to finance their tertiary education. The intervention is aimed at easing the financial burden on vulnerable students and ensure that no qualified student is left behind because of economic challenges.
The support forms part of government's broader commitment to expanding access to higher education through its flagship no-fee stress policy. Since the policy was introduced, more than 150,000 students have benefited from various financial assistance packages designed to help them pursue their academic ambitions. To sustain the initiative, government has earmarked more than 1 billion cedis for student loans between 2025 and 2026. The funding has already been transferred to Student Loan Trust Fund for onward disbursement to eligible students nationwide. This year alone, more than 159,000 students have accessed loans under the scheme, with the trust targeting over 170,000 beneficiaries before the end of the year. In a move to broaden educational opportunities, the fund, under the directive of the President John Dramani Mahama, has extended loan support to students at the Ghana Law School. So far, more than 800 law students have benefited, with approximately 14 million Ghana cedis disbursed to support their legal education. Dr. Sajid Ashiraz is the CEO of the fund.
We've paid actually 878 students, and we've deployed a total sum of 14 million Ghana cedis to do that. The Ghana School of Law, you know, the fees are quite expensive, so we give an average sum of about 20,000 Ghana cedis for all those who applied. And what we did essentially was serve as a guarantor institution.
She again revealed that over 530 students living with disabilities have already received support amounting to more than 9 million cedis, primarily to cover tuition fees and other educational costs.
It relates to free tertiary for persons with disability because that is a policy that covers students irrespective of the level you are. No academic fee policies for level 100s. Free tertiary is from the entire duration of your tertiary education. So everybody who qualifies benefits, and we get that data from school.
However, she expressed concern over challenges associated with verification and validation of students' information, describing it as one of the major obstacles facing the implementation of the program.
An installation failure caused the Gridco Station fire outbreak at the Akosombo Dam, resulting in Ghana losing more than 1,400 megawatts of power. This is according to the final investigation report, which has been presented to the Sector Minister, Dr. John Abdullahi Jinapor. The committee has recommended the construction of a state-of-the-art control center to replace the existing facility, which was built in 1964. George Quainin reports.
Following the April 23 inferno at the Gridco substation at the Akosombo Dam, and the sector minister was compelled to set up a committee that actually will look into the cause of the inferno, the lapses and possible recommendations. And they're given 4 weeks to look into this very incident, and they are done. The report has been handed over to the Minister for Energy and Green Transitions, Dr. John Jinapor. Looking at the incident, some of the recommendations the committee put up is the fact that there should be an establishment of a state-of-the-art control center to replace the one that was established in 1962.
There's some kind of fault that you don't have the current just flowing in because of the insulation of the materials over there. Now, when that happened, the supply from the powerhouse tripped at 311 amps. The second transformer nearby took over and started supplying. So it means it was feeding into the fault. Now, unfortunately, the setting on the second transformer, I guess the transformer was meant for other things, so it had a setting of 450 amps. Now, you would imagine that 450 amps would not trip at all. So that was feeding into the fault. And within a short time, the insulation, which is like plastic, caught fire.
Receiving the final investigation report, Sector Minister Dr. John Jinapor said government will continue to invest in Ghana's grid to ensure there's resilient energy sector.
This is a lesson that should teach us to avoid the future occurrence of this very unfortunate situation. And from what you are saying, it's obvious that a lot should have been done over the years. And so this should be a wake-up call for us so that we can strengthen the system, make it more responsive, improve our emergency response system, maintenance culture, and more importantly, invest in the grid in order to have a resilient energy sector. So I would communicate to His Excellency the President, and I'm sure that we'll formally thank you. Already I know that the control center, a temporary one, is being built using containerized structures because we can't continue to evacuate power the way we're doing it.
Dr. John Jinapor also said that the ministry will make full use of the report to ensure that there's viability in the energy sector. Josh Quainin, TV3 News, Energy Ministry, Accra.
On us now to have a conversation with the Africa Sustainable Energy Center because you're calling for sweeping reforms on the back of this investigative report. So Justice Ohenia Koto is an engineer and executive director for ASEC. He's joining us here on the news for a bit more. When you say sweeping reforms on the back of this statement, it means a lot. But first, before we get into the breakdown of that, talk to me about this report and whether or not it has told us anything new, something we didn't already know.
Okay, so good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your cherished viewers as well. Yeah, so I mean, listening to the report, it stated clearly that it is not a sabotage, but then it has to do with an installation failure for the Africa Sustainable Energy Center. I mean, this was not news to us. We knew it wouldn't be a sabotage. And even if it was a sabotage, I mean, there should have been cameras within the control center to detect whoever was doing that. So clearly, I mean, it was something that has to do with an engineering or a structural failure within the system. And then, I mean, talking about the insulation failure, what will cause us to have an insulation fail on a cable? Basically, two main factors. One has to do with, I mean, the cable being overloaded or heated over time. The other one has to do with, I mean, improper sizing of the cable. The next one has to do with maybe spikes. Usually with spikes, we don't really see that much with having insulation breaking down. And clearly, this is a cable that has been in place for a very long time. So meaning it's not an issue of sizing. So it boils down to an issue of it heating over time. So this is where, I mean, we are calling for some of these reforms. First of all, this should have never happened. And I see people talking about funding, whatever. That is not it. This is a purely engineering failure. And whoever is in charge of engineering in GRIDCO, VRE, has questions to answer. The first one is this. We have something called IR scanning. So we have to be able to have regular maintenance to scan the cables to see hot areas and hot spots so that at least we will be able to know whether we have to isolate them and replace them. That was the first point of call.
So somebody wasn't doing their jobs?
Somebody has questions to answer. And mostly the one in charge of engineering, maintenance, VRE, has questions to answer.
But you know, post the incident, we cut the CEO of GRIDCO instead. In hindsight, do you think that was the wrong thing to have done or to have been done?
Oh, you know, I mean, everything stops at the back of leadership, and whatever went on within that conversation between the minister and the GRIDCO CEO, I don't know. But if I'm supposed to talk about it, I'll say everything stops at the back of leadership. And then this is purely engineering failure. I don't think it is something that should end at a high level. We have to go down to the managers, I mean, those other people too, to have a conversation with them. Yeah, so as I mentioned, it doesn't just stop because those in charge of engineering are those who are supposed to see to the schedules to be able to have some of this infrared, I mean, this IR scanning. And even it moves more to a more devastated area that has to do with protection. We saw that one of the transformer was still feeding when one transformer tripped. That is a total engineering blunder. It's a no-no. We have something called protection and short-circuit coordination study. So over the transformers are supposed to coordinate that if one trips, the other one will also trip to be able to isolate the system. This is a setting that you put into this for the SCCS coordination. So over here, we didn't get it right. And whoever is in charge has questions to answer.
I see.
The engineer. This is a no-no.
The report, on the other hand, is recommending a modernized control room. When you talk about sweeping reforms, are you referring to a modernized and more equipped control room?
No, so you see, I mean, most of the time when some of these things happen, we tend to attach it to funding. If we go and build a new control room and some of these underlying issues are not addressed, we are going to build another control center. Let's look at VARCO. VARCO has been in existence the same time as VRE came into existence, an old facility, but they're able to manage. So, I mean, the underlying issue, the troubleshooted underlying issue has to be dealt with. As I was saying, I mean, the short-circuit coordination study. If there's a gap, if there's a knowledge gap within GRIDCO, within VRE, the Africa Sustainable Energy Center is ready to assist. And even if, the coordination wasn't good, let's say all the line was not catch, and then we even got to the fire, getting the fire. How does the cable start first? We will see smoke before it evolves into a fire. So if there were very good smoke detectors that have detected it, and then just moved into a sprinkler to put off the fire, we wouldn't have been here. So the whole of line didn't work, and then it's a whole blunder from the IR scanning to the protection to the engineering and the fire response facility. That is
indeed
fire is not a multi-million-dollar project.
Very well, Justice.
Failure.
Justice, we'll end our conversation here. I'm out of time on this subject. Thank you so much for your time. Justice Ohene Akoto is Executive Director for the Africa Center for Sustainable Energy Center. Now, let's turn attention to other stories. But before we do that, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, let's bring you more stories. Don't go away.
In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmini, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German Embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. The Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra. Starting this June 2026. The Climate Talks are coming, and this time the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmini, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Welcome back. It's still News Central here on TV3. Now, persistent filth and unchecked structures at Agbogbloshie continue to increase the risk of floods, forcing city authorities to threaten demolition as sanitation conditions deteriorate. But residents are now taking matters into their own hands, launching a massive cleanup to clear choked drains and avert another flood.
The Agbogbloshie enclave, stretching to the Old Onion Market area, is usually filthy. Gutters there are choked with plastic waste and lots of sand deposits. The Old Onion Market area was demolished in the previous administration, but the land was later left to lie fallow. Now, the people are back to settle on the land, with more illegal structures springing up. The situation contributes to perennial flooding in the area, prompting the Ablekuma Central Municipal Assembly to serve a demolition notice of illegal structures in the enclave, citing poor sanitation situation as the basis. But on Thursday, June 11, the Agbogbloshie resident took charge of the sanitation situation there by desilting and evacuating debris.
When you go through the letter, they have outlined three major things. One, they talk about sanitation. They say for proper management of sanitation. Two, they talk about security. And the last one was development of the area. And we said, wow, these issues that you are raising, it is not a big deal to us. Ourselves, we can do something about it. You understand? And we got up and mobilized ourselves. We speak to each and every squatter here, and they contributed money. We went and brought a machine, that was on Sunday, to distill the gutters. So we have actually taken it upon ourselves. We distilled the gutters. Today, as we are speaking, there is a truck that is carrying the rubbish to go and throw them away.
In about 4 hours of continuous work, the gutters became clean and ready to receive runoff. Residents say they are bent on sustaining the exercise.
To demolish this place, what will you get out of it? After the first demolition, see the way you made people to suffer. You have come back again serving letters of demolition. Instead of organizing the people and making some revenue out of it, look at the decision you are taking.
While residents have sustained renewed commitment to keeping their environment clean, city authorities insist sustained sanitation efforts and strict enforcement against illegal structures remain critical to ending the cycle of flooding in Agbogbloshie. For now, the clean drains offer a temporary reprieve, but the real test will come with the next heavy downpour. Stanley Niblo, TV3 News, Agbogbloshie.
Let's take you across the regions now. Concerns are mounting over the safety of the Ghana Muslim Mission Basic School in the Sunyani municipality as urgent intervention is demanded to address severe erosion that has endangered the building's foundation and threatened the lives of pupils. Authorities are warning that the school could face a shutdown if immediate action is not taken. Here's a report by Claude Kumi Abisa.
The school is now facing a critical predicament due to a dangerous gaping hole that has formed, threatening its safety. Significant erosion has compromised part of the school's foundation, creating a hazardous situation that requires immediate attention. Yusuf Babudu, the Bono Regional Secretary for the Ghana Muslim Mission, attributes the situation to a drainage construction linked to a World Bank project in Sunyani.
During the 2022, the engineer for the Sunyani Municipal Assembly together with the same construction engineer and then the former, approached Ghana Muslim Mission that they had a well bank project that's supposed to construct a drainage for the Sunyani towns. So they approached that they want them to link the drainage to pass through our school. There's a stream down there. So we agree. And along the way, they stopped. So we approached them while they stopped. And we were told the money given to them was exhausted. So they are waiting for the second phase to come. The second phase came. When they started the work, we approached them, reminding them of the promise they made or the agreement that we had with them. They never respond. When they completed, we will have to write a letter to the municipal chief executive, reminding them of the work they're supposed to do. All the next organization who are supposed to know about this, we have approached them, but they have never come to assess the situation over here.
The secretary for the Ghana Muslim Mission is calling for a temporary closure of the school until the issue is addressed, as the unsafe environment poses a high risk for the students.
We are also appealing to the Director General through his regional director that for now, this is not a safe environment for kids to attend school here. So we are currently appealing that they should temporarily close the school down so that will put pressure on the necessary organizational institutions for them to come and do the work that we will help all of us here.
The Parent-Teacher Association chairman, along with an affected resident, emphasized the dire need for a swift and effective response from the relevant authorities. They lament, despite repeated complaints directed to the appropriate quarters, little has been done to address the escalating crisis.
We need good environment for our children, because here my two children are here. So when you come and see this situation, is it fair for children to school here? No. We are urging the government and the MP and then the MC to come and set their eyes on here and see that our complaint is relevant or irrelevant. And we know that our complaint is relevant. They should come to our aid.
This thing started 4 years ago. And look at what has happened today. It has become a headache to us. We have put our heads together to bring this thing to solution. But up to now, there is no way to overcome it.
During our visit to the school, we witnessed students erecting a temporary fence around the affected area in hopes of preventing any unforeseen accidents. As the relentless rain continues to expose the building's foundation, it is essential that officials provide an urgent and thorough response. Efforts made for the Sunyani Municipal Assembly to speak to the issue were unsuccessful. Claude Kume Ebisa, TV3 News.
Now, workers of PBC Limited have renewed their call on President Mahama to fulfill his promise to revive the struggling cocoa buying company, citing worsening hardship, unpaid salaries and operational challenges. Addressing the media in Kumasi, the workers said the president had repeatedly assured workers and stakeholders that PBC would be restored to its former position as a leading license buying company in the country. Ibrahim Abubakar joins us with more on the story. Ibrahim, good afternoon to you. What other concerns have the workers raised?
So a major concern raised by the unions is the non-payment of salary. For permanent workers, they have gone without salary payment for 27 months, whilst casual workers have not been paid for 36 months. And this, according to the group, has placed workers under severe financial strain and is affecting their basic family needs, even school-related obligations for them. Now, the union has also been complaining about inadequate operational funding, which they say continues to affect productivity and service delivery. Mind you, PBC used to be the largest cocoa buying company, but currently they say they do not have even any money to be able to purchase cocoa. And also the workers are further expressing concern about government takeover of the Share Processing Factory, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of PBC Limited. And they also have a litany of concerns. Let's listen to their union leader, Osbert Bafo, who has been speaking to the media on this issue.
On the president, the workers are dying because we've not been paid for over 24 months. We are telling the president that revamping is not only about appointing people to the helm of affairs of PBC. It is also about providing them with resources for operations of the company. If the government has placed Bupe processing shell factory under a different ministry. We are also asking the president that that factory comes with debt, and it forms a chunk of our debt. And so if they are taking that asset, they should take its accompanying liabilities. And so we are asking His Excellency the President, we are pleading with him. We are pleading with him that he promised to create jobs. PBC is one of the jobs. We are pleading that the already existing jobs should not be collapsed and a new one created. We are asking the president that he should come and fulfill the promises that he made to us.
Now, Ibrahim, these salaries they talk about that are in arrears, how many months of unpaid salaries, over what period, and do we know if management has responded to the unionized workers' demands on the president?
Okay, so for permanent staff, they say they've not been paid for the past 24 months, which is 2 years and some months. And also for the casual workers, they have gone without pay for 36 months. And they have acknowledged the fact that this crisis didn't start now, way back. And for them, the reason why they are even calling on the current president to fulfill his promises that during the lead up to the campaign, promises were made by the then flag bearer of the NPP, John Mahama, that when he becomes the president eventually, they will revive PBC and ensure that all these salaries are settled. And that time they were being owed for only 12 months or so. And for that matter, they are just reminding the government that regardless of who the president appoints to head the company, if the logistics or finances are not released to operationalize the company, it will amount to nothing. For now, management are yet to officially communicate to the issue. We have made some calls, and they told us they will get back to us in due course.
Beryl Ibrahim, we'll end our conversation here. Thank you so much for the reporting. Now, away from that, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture has gone into partnership with RB Farms in the Shamar district of the Western region to turn abandoned quarry and clay pits, which have become death traps, into fish farms. Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture and MP for Shamar, Emilia Arthur, says this initiative aligns with the 24-hour economy vision of the Dramani Mahama administration. Irama Smith has more.
For years, quarry and clay pits left behind by Galamsey, stone and clay mining have littered communities across the Shamar district from Konfweku to Anto and Supom Dunkwa. Left untreated, they have become breeding grounds for reptiles, mosquitoes and drowning tragedies. Now the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture and RB Farms are flipping the script. Under the Konfweku Shamar Aquaculture Project, treated pit water is being used to create modern fish ponds. Nets and barrels from floating cages rearing tilapia in water once considered dangerous. Phase 1 has created 120 cages, stocking 6,000 tilapia fingerlings. More than 50 youth from Konfweku are already employed, with plans to scale up.
This project is significant because it demonstrates how innovation can turn challenges into opportunities. Land that was once abandoned and underutilized is being repurposed to produce food, create jobs, generate incomes, and strengthen local communities.
So we hope that we are going to expand this to the other region. And talking about employment, since we came here, within the short time that we came in the construction of the ponds, to security, to the people that we've trained, so far we've recruited close to 30 to 50 people in the community, and they are purely from the community.
Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson, in a statement read on his behalf, urged chiefs and assemblies to embrace the initiative and turn more deadly pits into productive ventures.
Across several communities, abandoned pits have become environmental hazards, posing risks to human life, livestock, and surrounding ecosystems. For many years, these abandoned clay and quarry pits have been viewed as scarce on our landscape. Today, Through this innovative aquaculture project, we are witnessing the transformation of what we once considered a liability into a valuable productive asset. This is a shining example of how innovation can convert environmental challenges into opportunities for sustainable development.
Thomas Smith, TV3 News, Shama.
That's it for this hour. More news ahead at 7 and 10 p.m. here on TV3. In the meantime, log on to 3news.com to read some of our news articles. I am Kemini Amano. The duo returns on Monday. Bye-bye.